Welcome to Improving Your Lifestyle with Dr. Olia, spotlighting global news and interviews. Let's talk about it. It's time for the Dr. Olia Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Olia Show. We welcome our audience in the studio and from all around the world. We're excited about our love, passion, and relationships. We're so excited to have our guest coming in from Richland, Virginia. She's a beautiful young lady. She's an epidemiologist, has a master's degree. She has a passion for health and science. You're going to meet her shortly. We also have a wonderful couple right here from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to be talking to them momentarily. We're going to be going to a pre-recorded interview. We're so glad that you're joining us today. We're excited to talk about love, passion, and sexuality by God's design. Let's talk about it. I would like to welcome my first guest to the set. She's a beautiful young woman. She's going to be talking about being single in today's world as well as being a professional. Please welcome Jasmine Nicole Huff. Welcome, welcome. Have a seat there. Thank you so much for joining us, Jasmine. We're excited.
Yes.
You look
Thank
fabulous.
you for having me.
I love the look.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Yes. You know what, Jasmine, as I was looking at your information, you have a master's degree in epidemiology. I had to learn to pronounce that word. You're also a CEO of your own company. Your brand is called Serenity. What is it?
It's Sacred Serenity.
Serenity. Mm-hmm. I want you to talk a little bit about, you've been a science buff and also you work in the healthcare industry. Tell us a little bit about why you got into that industry in reference to the medical care, and also touch on your product line that you have out. We're excited about that.
So I've always been health conscious. I've always been interested in health sciences and the medical field. So I really wanted to kind of dive in I always wanted to have a huge impact on people. Yeah. And I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do that, in which way. Yes. But research has always been something that I loved, and just wanted to try to find ways to bring awareness to health for people.
And also the beauty industry as well. You have your own line of products out, Sacred Serenity.
Yes.
And it deals with skin care, and also it's all natural, hair care as well.
Yes, it's all natural. It's plant-based, free from toxins, limited ingredients. I also have skin and hair care products. So I started about 2 years ago.
Wow. And I'm sure it's very successful.
Yes.
And you're still young, single, no family, just single, just you.
Yes.
And you're working on your career.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? We have another couple that's going to be coming in. They are a married couple, awesome, from Charlotte, North Carolina. But we're going to go to a pre-recorded interview right now, and we'll be right back. I've already had an opportunity to talk with them. You're going to be excited to hear what they have to say. Let's talk about it. I am so excited about our relationship series, talking about love, passion, and sexuality by God's design. We're so excited to have a power couple, a married couple that is going to be sharing with us tonight. The interview is so powerful, and I know you're going to enjoy and you're going to glean from it. We're going to be talking about marriage, and what it takes to be a married couple with sustainability. We're going to talk about dating and courting and how they got together. Talking about career and business as well as family. They have two fantastic young men in their lives. So I'm going to bring them on right now. Please welcome everyone. Deanna and John Kelly. Welcome them, everybody, to the show.
How you doing?
Thank you.
You guys look really fantastic. It's so good to have you join me on the Dr. Olia show in our relationship series. We're talking about a lot of different subjects, like what love got to do with it. When love turns to hate, does love turn to hate? We talk about is it lust or love? And do you know the difference? And tonight we want to talk to you. Today we want to talk to you about marriage. Find out a little bit about the two of you. First of all, Deanna, you are originally from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And John, I understand that you was raised in Korea as well as in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your native states.
Well, with me born in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're rare. A lot of people,
Rare.
Yeah, a lot of people migrate to Charlotte, so it's rare that you find actual natives, people that were born here. So, but I was born here. My mother was born here. My grandmother was born here. So, and then on my father's side, they're from Lincoln, North Carolina. So Lincoln, Iron State.
So you still live in Charlotte now. You still live in Charlotte.
Still here in Charlotte, yeah.
And John, what about you? It sounds like you was a military style. Tell us briefly about your experience in Korea and then back in the U.S. Just briefly, a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, I was born in Maryland, and my dad was in the military. So I grew up, South Korea, Maryland, and then starting ninth grade, I was in the mainland in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I was able to, embrace the American culture and then the Korean culture too.
We're so excited to have a wonderful couple to join us, Jasmine, on the set. And they are from Charlotte, North Carolina. Beautiful married couple. I had an opportunity to interview them, and you just watched that interview. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, our special guests to the Dr. Olia show. We have John and Deanna. This is the Kellys. Welcome. Welcome, John. Thank you so much. I have a seat there. I like to call you the Kellys. Let's call them the Kellys,
Yes.
Jess. It's the Kelly family. I'm just so excited. We had an opportunity to pre-interview you earlier for the Dr. Olia show dealing with relationships. And I wanted you to come into the studio and talk a little bit about relationships. You will be able to see the long version of the interview later, but we want to talk to you about relationship. You guys met in college?
Yes, we met in college, our freshman year in college. And, in a Taekwondo class. And in a Taekwondo class.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just testing things out, and he was a black belt. So that's where we met, and
Love first sight? No.
Was it love at first sight?
Oh, for you.
I thought he was really cute.
He was really, really cute.
We ended up being really, really good friends.
Yeah.
And we dated for 7 years.
Wow.
And then we got married, and we've been married for 19 years now.
And you're only 45 years old. I've done my research on you. Only 45 years old, both of you, right?
Yeah.
45.
And been married 19 years. Have known each other for how many years?
19 and 7.
Is it 26?
And 1 year.
Yeah. So Jasmine, this is awesome, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and now you got married. We're talking about marriages, loving yourself first, self-care, loving yourself. And you guys got married, and you'll be able to see this in the interview. They talked about how John proposed to Deanya. But we want to talk a little bit more about how do you blend marriage, ministry, family, careers, because both of you have very strong careers. So, Deanya, you want to tell a little bit, because we have this in the interview already. Tell us a little bit.
It's a juggle, but the important thing is that our foundation is built on Christ. And so you have to be kingdom-minded. And, seek him first. And then it's like if you have him in your sight, then everything else, you can balance everything else. Because it can get intense, with raising children and your wife, and you have a business that doesn't end. And, leader in the church. And so it's a lot to juggle. Wow. But if you keep your eyes on Christ, then he will show you the priority. Yeah. So that's the important thing. But it
Christ-centered.
Yes. Yeah. It can get intense.
Yeah. So what advice, being married 19 years, and during the interview we talked a little bit about your breakups, when you first started out. Did y'all have breakup? You said maybe
we broke up for, was it a week?
Yeah.
A week.
1 week.
Yeah, we dated for a week and broke up for a week.
Oh.
And then we got back
19
together.
years.
And it's been together ever since.
Been together ever since.
Yeah.
And then now you have a family. You have 2 wonderful sons, and you'll be able to see the interview a little more in depth about that. The name of your sons is there.
Yep, John Wayne, named after John, and Jeremiah.
Yeah. How do you blend it all? Successful marriage, because I was talking with Jasmine about being single. Jasmine's in her early...
I'm 29.
Oh, sorry.
I'll be 30.
I was going to say, okay. She's only 20.
I got 1 week left.
She's only 20 now. In case somebody wants to know. So I was talking to Jasmine about, being so busy in business and creating your own line of product. But Deanya, you had a successful business, Deanya Designs, right?
Yes.
And John, you worked for the Mecklenburg
County of Charlotte, yes.
So y'all are very, very busy, and you have 2 sons, and you're very involved, I understand, in ministry as well. Especially, Deanya, you do a lot. And John, you work with the children, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
How do you blend all of this? Because when we look at in the world today and see so many divorce rates and people maybe not believing in marriages anymore, just kind of want to stay together because they don't see as many maybe successful relationships. What would y'all say? Say briefly. Maybe I don't want to say it's the secret. Because God is not trying to hide that. But what would y'all share with people today?
Just, see the kingdom, just knowing that we're on the same team.
Yes.
And that our common goal is just to expand the kingdom, so our gifts, our talents, and just be an example for our kids. So that's why we volunteer in church and, the community church. So, our kids are young and they're already saying, oh man, I want to teach, I want to be a volunteer, I want to babysit the kids. So we're setting that example for, for the future. So if wherever, we pass away, whenever, that hopefully we have
a long time.
Yeah, a long time. But anything, can happen. But we have a foundation for the kids. We throw out the seeds, and so hopefully, they're not tainted by the world. Because, being in middle school now, they're hearing things, we hear it. So we have to lay that ground and not taking things personally. If we tell them if she succeeds, I succeed. If I succeed, we all succeed. We're on the same team.
Yeah. And I remember in the interview, Deanya, and you talked about as John and myself and our two sons. And that's the inner circle. And everybody else, and of course Christ-centered, and everyone else is kind of like have to come outside of family. Love all of them, but y'all have to be just a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. you're always going to have the opposition, even when you're single. You know, it's got to be Christ first. So Christ first. And then when you are married, it's Christ first. And then each other. So you have the three of you. You, your spouse, and you have Christ. And then when you're blessed with children, you have Christ, your spouse, your children. Everything and everybody else is outside of that unit. That is the primary unit. And so that's how you prioritize everything. And so if it doesn't come in alignment with that, then it just doesn't work.
So is that scripture when the Bible talked about a man leaving his home, his mother and father, and then cleaving to his wife, and that becomes your family, although you still get a mother and father and all of that, but this is now your family. That is so awesome. We're going to come back and talk just a little bit more. I'm going to talk to Jasmine a little bit more about being single in today's world and being successful, a successful businesswoman. We're going to segue to Dr. Olia's Global News, and we'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Dr. Olia. Ladies and gentlemen from all around the world, our global news for today is focused on love within marriages. Pastor Jimmy Odukoya of Nigeria, Africa has a series titled, What is Love? Let's talk about it. Speaking from Genesis, Pastor Jimmy stated that men ought to know that God is his source and nothing else. He also added that there is an absolute need for constant connection to God, which is the source, in order to remain in positions of supply and fulfillment. Staying connected to the source ensures the fulfillment of destiny and purpose. Pastor Jimmy noted that men feel useful and fulfilled when they work, stating that a man dies when he doesn't feel needed. He used this to advise women to desist from putting their husbands in a tough position of choosing between them and work. The man of God also told women to understand their roles as helpers to their husbands, admonishing them to be succor, assistants, and encouraging to their men. The full messages are available on the church's YouTube channel, Fountain TV, and Jimmy Odukoya YouTube's channel. The audio messages can be accessed on SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Back to you, Dr. Olia.
Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Olia's Global News, we're talking about dating, courtship, marriages from all around the world, like Australia, Sweden, and Paris, Africa. We want to find out, is the dating system the same from people all around the world? What does marriage look like in other countries? We want to find out, because we know there's just only one true blueprint. Yes?
Yes.
So, Jasmine, being single and in business, you know, you've been in a relationship, you were in high school, then you graduated, and you're still trying to figure out what it is that you wanted to do in life. What is God's purpose for your life, right? Did you go through many challenges, you know, in high school, in colleges, and then, you know, relationships before marriage?
I definitely did, especially when you think about social media and the internet. It's like you see what everyone else has, and it's like you want what everyone else has. But sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and think about, what does God want for me, and right timing. Wanting to set the foundation for yourself. Like when you're young, high school, college, you're still trying to figure out life and experiences. And you have to kind of move through that alone to be able to figure out, what are my likes, what are my dislikes, what are my strengths, what are my dislikes and weaknesses. And navigating that to try to figure out, how can I figure out who can complement me as I am.
And getting to know yourself. When you say the first relationship we should have, and we know with Christ, you won't know yourself without Christ.
Yes.
You just won't,
Yes.
because he created us. And then once you get to know him, it's a process, because grace is huge. Then you take the time to get to know yourself, because if you don't know who you are, then how do you know what it is you want in life?
Right.
Would you say that has to do, and y'all can kind of chime in a little bit, beginning with family? Your parents, how they raised you, what you saw in their lives. Do you think that has a great influence on your perception of marriage and your purpose in life?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's the only example that you have is learned behavior. When you grow up and you're living in an environment, your parents are often the first two that you see as an example.
Yes.
So I definitely think that is very important.
Wow. Yeah. So I have a book, and a book called Are You in Love or in Lust? And Do You Know the Difference? Let me say that again. Are you in love or in lust? Do you know the difference? Because I think many times people, and which I sort of agree in some cases, that sometimes what people think is love is actually lust. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, pride of life, and all of that.
Sure.
And so many times when people get married and they say, my marriage changed, you've changed, I don't know what marriage is all about. Do you think a lot of times people may have the perception that what they thought was love was actually lust?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it feels great. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to be
It's
love.
exciting.
It says exciting.
It's exciting.
Right, it's exciting. Right. So, what would you say? We're ready to wrap it up. Oh my God, time just flies when you're trying to have a conversation.
Yes.
What would you say? Well, what would you leave with the people right now in reference to marriage and being in business and single and dating? What are you looking for? Are you looking for it too soon once you get out of high school?
Well, I believe, as, I was saying before, that, your foundation is in Christ. So when you're single, then you need to be focusing on who he is and who he wants you to be.
Yeah.
A lot of times we focus on what we're doing, but who is it that you're supposed to be?
Yeah.
How are you in the workplace? How are you at home? How are you around your friends? Are you being who God has called you to be?
You don't even know God, right? That would be a question too.
Without him,
Yeah.
you're off already.
Yeah. We have a question from our audience. Would y'all like to hear from our audience? We have a question. Yakima and Jessica Perez. We're going to ask a question now of our guests.
I actually have a quick question for Jasmine. I have a question for both, but I'll start with Jasmine. So you mentioned earlier that you were juggling social media. You have so much coming in, information coming in. I'm just curious about how you, and do you have a routine, or how do you handle the anxiety that can come from just so much information and trying to figure out who you are, what you're doing, and is this the right time? So many questions. So how do you handle that?
I would definitely say the first thing that comes to mind is spend time in solitude. Sometimes you have to spend time in solitude to be able to slow down, because a lot of times it's so much going on in life. You have to take that time to be able to speak to God and pray about the things that you want. You were speaking to just your divine assignment, who you are. It starts with just having that time to yourself. I would also say having a mentor that you trust, that's going to help pull some of the characteristics and traits out of you that you may not recognize. Those are kind of the two things that first come to my mind.
Wow.
So,
Thank you so much.
I have a very similar question for you, Deanya and John. So as a married couple, I know that the seasons change and things are going so fast, kids, business, marriage, and so how do you all make sure? I know I've heard this great analogy about people who are rowing. They get the calls, and when they're hitting the water at the same time, they reach a swing, and so you get quantum leaps instead of it looking like you're just doing one stroke at a time. You take extra leaps forward. I just want to know, do you all have a routine where you feel like you're in a swing, or you got any tips for us to get in our swing?
Get in our swing.
I would say yes. Dion is more the logistics person. You know, I go with the flow, but I know I have to adapt and, you know, try to get more organized for her, especially we have kids and she has a business. So again, it comes back to being on the same team. And once we know that, we have a vision. What can we do together to keep that vision and hit that goal? And then, you know, there's, you know, strengths and weaknesses, and I know that. So if she has a strength, you know, we just capitalize on that and just, you know, run with that.
Yeah, and we have our morning coffee on the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our reset.
Our ground.
So on
Reset.
the weekends, we
That's
have
a good
to
word,
reset,
reset.
come back together and go, whew, it's a rough week,
Yeah.
you know, and get on the same page and reset. That's our
That's it.
time to like, okay, let's go again. Got another week. So you got to have time to just reset, reconnect, and remind each other of what we're doing and who we're doing it for.
That's it.
Christ-centered.
Yeah.
Without Christ in your life, you know. Diane made that statement earlier in an interview. She said, I don't know how you can do it.
Yeah.
So those that do not know Jesus Christ, you should, because actually he created marriage and relationship, love and passionate sexuality. And you want to do it by God's design. I am so excited to have you join me, Jasmine, and also Brandon and John. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this show. We thank all of you for joining us in the studio. God bless each of you and all around the world. We appreciate you watching and following the Dr. Olia Show. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. And remember to love with passion by God's design. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Coming soon, Dr. Olia's Relationship Series, a journey into love, passion, and sexuality by God's design. Join us as we delve into hot topics from Dr. Olia's book. Are you in love or in lust? Do you know the difference? Let's explore the fine line that separates the two. Discover what happens when love turns to hate. How to choose your life partner wisely. From self-love to navigating through the realms of singledom, marriages, divorce, recovery, and blended families. Dr. Olia covers it all. Don't miss out on the opportunity to enhance your understanding of relationships and embark on a journey towards love, passion, and sexuality by God's design. Join us for Dr. Olia's Relationship Series. Let's talk about it.